5 years ago, I had my first ever Michelin experience at a restaurant called Gabriel Kreuther, run by the chef of the same name, who used to be the executive chef at Modern, which by the way is a 2-star Michelin restaurant that I have covered in my previous video. Gabriel left Modern after many years service, started his own restaurant under his name, and quickly gained 1 star after his first year, around the same time of my first visit. Coming from someone who pretty much didn't know anything about fine dining back then, I was absolutely blown away by his presentation and technique. I never knew food, or dining experience overall for that matter, can be construed in such a manner. Of course, much things have changed over the years. I have become someone who generally know a thing or two about food and has some experiences with Michelin restaurants worldwide. So have Gabriel Kreuther changed, and it's now a 2-star restaurant since 2019. Being impressed by my first visit and wanted to relive that experience somehow, I decided to visit it again and see what changes it will bring after having its promotion to 2 stars. Just a quick note, Gabriel Kreuther serves modern version of Alsatian cuisine, that is, the cuisine of Alsace, which is a region of nowadays France bordering Germany. Though technically within France, its culture and cuisine is still very German, with some French influences. That is why some people refuse to call it French cuisine. Either way, I'm here to experience the combination of French, Germany, and contemporary American cuisine. This dinner happened on January 23rd, 2020.
So here we have, before the first course, amuse-bouche. That's some small bites to please your mouth, literally. And we have a cup of very citrusy fruit. Oh, it's like some kind of orange and different citrus. It is like a shaved ice, kind of. Very cold, but also refreshing. Oh, slightly sour. Interesting. And then we have this lychee champagne, made it into like a sphere. It's not like exploding, it's kind of a jelly. Not very sweet, it's just slightly sweet and sour, but they just combine into a good combination. And the thing is, as you're eating it, the sweet and sour intensify. And lastly, we have this pizza with bacon. It's a classic Alsace snack. Oh, wow, just by smelling it, that bacon flavor is so strong. It's bacony, smoky, very creamy and sweet. It's like a little cheese inside, you know? The sweet is not strong, not too strong. It was balanced by the saltiness, the savoriness of the bacon. So first course, we have a few items. This is red apple consomme and jelly with pine nuts on top and a little bit of cream. And we have a venison tartare, which is interesting. Venison tartare. I never had venison in tartare from before, paired with this rice cracker. And then we have a tempura. All right, let me get into this one. Oh my God. This is what I'm looking for. When you get to Michelin 2-star and up, every bite should be as complex as this one. It is savory and creamy, and the jelly was umami and sweet, but from the fruit, it's like fruity because this is red apple consomme. So you can taste the red apple here, slightly red apple with the jelly from the stalk and the creaminess from the cream, everything combined together. And the pineapple provides a little bit of a crunch, but that flavor was so complex. Just look at it. This is like a jelly. Wow, what a roller coaster of flavors. And we have a rice cracker and venison tartare. Right there. Very delicate. It has some like fried onion on the top, a little bit of green. I guess this is like a one biter. It's very savory, very soft. The meat is so soft that it's almost like a firmer version of butter. And it's not cold at all, like it's like room temperature, so it goes perfectly within your mouth and it just melted and everything. It's salty, savory, and crunchy, but the tartare itself is soft and a little creamy. Lastly, we have this tempura. This one, I think there's some kind of sauce that has been solidified. It's like a a veg and tempura, almost like a texture is similar to like a seaweed cracker, crispy and spongy. So second course, here we have royal Kaluga caviar with scallion cream on a cracker, and we have a cold dish. This is langoustine, and they rolled it in like a pasta kind of technique. And this is hamachi wrapped in some type of seaweed. And we have a uni here, or some type of rara. And the sauce is also made with uni, and they shaved some fresh wasabi. And they recommended us we start with this one. It is still warm. So the cracker.
It's a freshwater fish. It makes it almost so fresh to tell the difference.
Tsunami. When I eat that, the caviar, it kind of explode and expand your mouth. It was like you're right in front of the wave. I was blown away. Like the wave just come at me, and I was just blown away. Let's get to this one. This is a cold dish. We have the langoustine, right? And that's the hamachi. And some cream. The shape of this utensil, look at the spoon, is also interesting. It's slightly tilted. You can taste a little bit of uni here. A little citrusy, creamy and umami. Slightly sour. Lobster, the langoustine. Whoa. It was like a raw langoustine that melt in your mouth. I never had a langoustine that melt in my mouth. They used some kind of technique. They marinated. It was almost like tartare. It was so soft and texture so smooth. It just melt like that. And the uni, that uni is also superb. The quality. And we have some crispy nori. It provides like a little bit of balance. It's a bit more salty. We have hamachi wrapped in this type of seaweed with some wasabi. It's like a super premium grade of sashimi. The way it's prepared is kind of similar to like a sashimi. The meat is firm and gummy, plump, and a little juicy as well. And it goes so well. Like the taste is very natural. So in between our second to third course, we have this baguette here. That's the bread. Look at that. And we have two types of, this is butter, and this is natural pork fat. Look at that. Straight out of the oven. And we have a little bit of this handmade butter. The buttery, milky flavor gets released a little later after you bite into it. That bread is so good. Look at that. And then we have some of the pork fat. Similar to the Danish open sandwich, they spread the lard on there. It kind of tastes the same, but this one's more earthy, more natural. I prefer this one a bit more though, but this is also very good. Salty and savory, and a little porky. Third course, trout with mussolini on top of like some kind of cracker. And when they lifted up the glass, it has some apple root smoke as well. And some caviar again on the top. Very crispy. It's like a tart. Right there. You can taste a little bit of fish down there. Slightly salty, very creamy, extremely umami. Like when I'm talking about umami, I'm talking about the sea-like flavor, similar to the caviar. It was like you're tasting the sea. The fish is salt, absorbed all the flavor from the sauce. You know what is this? This is actually for salt. Look at that. We have some rock salt here. Just even the salt, like they elevate the container. So for the fourth course, we have again a trout here on top of artichoke puree. And on top of the trout is smoked paprika breadcrumb. And this is kohlrabi. It's similar to sangchow, but fresher. And this is a deep fried squid with champagne sauce. Very savory, very tender. The kohlrabi. And they also have trout inside, like different layers. You can see it's kind of soft. It does taste similar to sangchow, but it's fresher. It has a more of a pickled scent. And lastly, we have this deep fried snail incredibly soft and earthy. Snail, in terms of texture, it really tastes like similar to mushroom, but this one isn't. It was so soft and earthy that I couldn't even tell it's a snail if they didn't tell me in the menu. So here again, in between course, we have this bread. It's already sliced. So this is a traditional bread from Alsace region where the chef comes from, but this is a savory version. They told me that usually it's a sweeter version that they made it with dates and apricots and things. This is made with scallion. So you can see it's a kind of a cone shape, like a tower. It's kind of like spongy. And you can see like a little bit oil from within the bread. It kind of reflects some of the light here. And we pair it with this cream. It is with chive and scallion. It's like a sour cream, but less sour, more scallion, more chive. Very savory. And the bread is also good too. Spongy, elastic, and firm. Good mouthfeel. Next course, duck confit ravioli in this sauce of truffle, I so it's like a truffle sauce. And on top, some sabai oil. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. A beautiful ravioli. It tastes like foie gras in there. I think they add foie gras inside the ravioli too. Foie gras and truffle infused, and the sauce is creamy and silky. Not so much of the meat here, like in terms of duck, but you can taste the foie gras part of the duck very strong in here. I seriously need some bread to clean this plate. It was that good. So here we have the showstopper. This is Berkshire pork, ahi pepper glaze, cauliflower puree, and some endive. Oh, wow. Okay, that is soft. So tender and juicy. Smoky on both sides. The charcoal flavor is amazing. This cauliflower puree was so strong, like it tastes stronger than the actual cauliflower. So here we have a side here. It is polenta on the base with garlic breadcrumb and some bacon, goat cheese, and a little bit of cauliflower here as well. It has these fluffy texture, almost like a mashed potato. Wow, it's so rich. It was so sweet and creamy. The mashed polenta with the crispy breadcrumb and bacon, this texture forms a perfect contrast. And the flavor is amazing, especially the bacon and the goat cheese. They added that saltiness and the umami. It was great. It was a super elevated version. In between courses, we have something a little refreshing. This is shiso leaf. It's kind of like a tempura. And we had a kombucha here as well. Yeah, this one. Oh, it's like a, it's not like a tempura. It's like a ice cream. Is that like some kind of, chocolate. Oh, it's like cold chocolate. It has a minty flavor. It tastes like mint. White chocolate, thinly coated around it, and the leaf is very soft. It melts with the chocolate, but at the same time, it brings the minty flavor to it. Kombucha, fermented, slightly sweet, very refreshing. Now we have our cheese course. So it's a cheese platter of 3 different kinds of cheese made with 3 different kinds of milk. This is called Ravioli, Conte, and Juliana. Sheep milk, cow milk, and goat milk. So 3 different kinds of milk. This is honey and candy walnut. This one, look at that. Ooh. In terms of flavor, it's a little similar to blue cheese, but not as strong. It's like a mild version, almost butter-like. This is much stronger. Without that odor from the blue cheese, it's more earthy. Lastly, we have this one, Juliana. A milder version of the first one. In terms of pairing with the bread, I like this one the best because it's so soft. It's almost like butter that you can spread it on the toast and eat it that way. So here we have the pre-dessert. So this is a mandarin, and that too, like a sorbet. It's kind of like a cookie type of thing. It is like a Mandarin sorbet, super citrusy. And for this, let me just grab them together and take one bite. Looks like some kind of filling, like an ice cream type of thing with 2 cookies. It has icy sorbet of citrusy flavor and a sweeter citrusy cream in between that 2 biscuits. So we have our dessert course. Just look at this. And they grated this thing on top. They didn't grate it, they rotate that masher so the string comes off. First, a little bit is like lemon sorbet, a little citrusy. It's like a cake with citrusy sorbet on top, like shaving this sorbet string on top of this cake with some cream. The sauce is some kind of sour berry. This is what the dessert is about. So here we have a chocolate here, chocolate mousse, sorbet, and some edible goat leaf. Let me try a little bit. It's a chocolate mousse, foamy and spongy. Just look at that texture, silky smooth. Take a little bit of the sorbet here. It's like a berry, refreshing. Chocolate cake, crust, cocoa nibs, crispy cocoa chip. The last course, we have a few items made with different chocolate content, and that is a small, sort of like a amuse-bouche size of bite with toffee inside. This is creme brulee, like a modern version of creme brulee. They have some mandarin apples at the bottom, and they fill that with cream, and on the top with some foam, and they sprinkle some sugar and blow torched it. So let's look at this one. Oh, it's actually kind of crispy. Look at that. It's already caramelized. So, oh wow, yeah. There's a good alcohol taste in it. Brandy, maybe. Crispy custard, and inside that's the foam. Some kind of like spongy cake, but with a little bit of apple at the bottom and filled with cream. And you have this, bite-sized. You need to hold the chip at the bottom. Look at that, there's some edible goat and toffee. That toffee cream just explode, melt in your mouth. So good. Lastly, 2 pieces of chocolate, and just take this. Surprisingly soft. And this one's slightly sweet. Lastly, this one. This is more chocolatey, but both were soft and silky, good texture. So there you have it. That's the final course of this meal.
This was a full experience at Gabriel Kreuther, and it definitely held up my expectation. The dishes were more refined than my first visit, more interesting and in more varieties, although the chocolates stayed the same. There were plenty of in-between course items to keep you entertained and stuck, and you will never go hungry. Overall, this is still my favorite restaurant, and I'll visit it again when they will finally get their ultimate third star in the future, a goal they're striving for. Although much have happened during the pandemic, I wish the best of them.